am privy to today. Happy Thursday to all of you that are coming in now, that will be picking this up later. I have my tripod thing. I don't know where it is. I think it's in my car, but I'll get it. But in the meantime, between time, just kind of go with the roll with the punches with me, y'all, with this whole recording and whatnot, because I every day I start my morning with doing my meditation and things of that nature, and then I go into researching kind of what's going on with the politicking in our faces. And usually, I do about 4 articles from about three different sources, and kind of see what's kind of tickling my spiritual fancy, and then I'll come up and do a little. Um, Snippet or excerpt, if you will, about what I have read so that you don't necessarily have to. And then I can give you the resources as to where I got them from. And then you all can look it up yourselves and see, come back to me and then compare and contrast. So that's kind of where One Sphere Us is kind of going to and what we're about. But what caught my interest today, uh, few of them. Let's start with the fact that Trump attempted to sneak attack Iran, even though Iran has been giving the United States the business. I mean, the business when it comes to this war. No other country has been able to be this resilient against big bad America. And Iran, of all people, of all countries, have very much done that. And I say of all countries because I want to say in 1953, look at the dates, but in 1953, I think it was that the United States, again, devoing other countries and installing our puppets for our best interest. We did that to them over there. And basically, we booted out a person that the people loved in Iran, and we put someone in there that would have our best interest at heart. And our best interest at heart was controlling the petroleum, the crude. Same thing with Venezuela. Same thing in the Middle East with Iraq. For America, we just don't. And I say America, the country, and it is created by white men. And white men, truthfully, they want to consume everything. It's really in their genetic makeup to just consume everything and anything from anyone else. They have a very competitive spirit as opposed to collaborative. And that is really the challenge that we are seeing and facing with the remnants of what their behaviors and decisions have been. And it is unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate that over 80% of the people in the world have to deal with the the remnants of a small percentage of Eurocentric men with power that have money, and they pretty much control the economic power, the societal statuses, the norms, the mores, what's expected, what's accepted. And unfortunately, President of the United States is the product of 250 years of silencing our dirty laundry, of extorting other countries, of extorting the American citizens in this country for labor and for resources. So, what we're seeing in Iran, unfortunately, is how America does business. And that's a sad state of affairs to be that honest about what is going on in the world and in this country, the United States. I need for us to really do a deep dive into how we got here so that we won't go back there again and the children won't have to necessarily deal with our remnants. We can do so much better, but it's really up to us to hold people accountable, even if they look like us, even if we believed in them. If they are not being forthcoming and if they're not thinking about us, you all, then what good are they on either side? Not just the Republicans, not just the Democrats. It's not just, it's both of them. It is time for the American citizens and the, listen, world citizens to get together collectively and decide we are tired of the select few, and they weren't selected by us, you all. We have to remember a lot of these top people with those 13 families, including the Rothschilds, these people come from generations of corruption. The JP Morgans and the Chases and the Rockefellers and the Carnegies, there were so many lives and families that were sacrificed for a few of these families to continue their generational wealth. And this is where we're having the challenge now, you all. You have Trump, who you created. White America created Trump. White America gave Trump the permission to be an ass, to be a racist, bigoted, misogynistic ass, and to be rewarded with that mediocrity. And with respect to Obama, Obama didn't get any type of grace, let alone the passes that Trump has received. When this man sleeps constantly during meetings, when he calls people out of their names, doing press conferences, Obama wore a tan suit. Mediocrity is very much a word. Bless your heart. Would you like mediocre? And there it is with, I say, pinch, look it up, baby. Look it up. Because mediocrity is exactly what is exactly what white men have been displaying forever. Well, Trump deranged syndrome is not a syndrome. Mediocrity. What did I say? What did I say? You just spelled it differently. I'm saying the same thing. I have an accent. What are you talking about? That's what I said, mediocrity. What is, would you like piss poor? How about that? Because the whole premise, Pinch, is is that white men have mediocre behaviors and they're rewarded for it. Would you prefer it like that? We could do it like that. And yet other people are not granted that type of grace, right? That type of tolerance for piss poor productivity. And in any other business or organization, Trump would have been fired a long time ago. I'm sure you all would acknowledge that and admit that that's true, right? And the people that he's had in his cabinets would not have even been in Obama's cabinets because the committee would have canceled all of them. And yet, because they were white people in these cabinets, in these appointed cabinet slots or positions, it was okay to have a podcaster, right? It was okay to actually my bad, two podcasters, uh, a sucky defense lawyer who basically was so bad that Trump ended up with over 30 felons. Reward him by him becoming assistant attorney general only to become attorney general. The white man is mad he has lost his rule of the world. That's all. We're experiencing the death throes of their influence. And that's what I was saying when I first opened it, Pinch. And I agree with you completely. The chickens are coming home to roost. There's just so much of a piss poor productivity that one can have without it coming back to biting us in the behind. And the chickens are coming home to roost. We have such a weakness within our own country that we're battling each other. And it's unfortunate that we're battling each other, especially now, because we're going to need each other more than at any time in our lives. And I mean that sincerely. There are more of us than there are of them. We just have to know that they really are power in numbers, and we have to do a completely new party. And I do believe that third party will have not even disgruntled Democrats or disgruntled Republicans supporters. If anything, they will have those supporters who are disappointed in our system, and they're disappointed and having to pick between the lesser of two evils. And they want people that is going to represent them, people who are kind, people who are respectful, people who are empathetic, people who are tolerant, people who are intelligent, people who are qualified, people who are professional, people who are respectful. I mean, I can keep going because I haven't really gotten into the logistics of the different politicians, what they should have. These are just the basic human traits of a decent human being. Who would have thought that in this country we would be talking about having a president that actually is respectful, that's actually kind, that is actually intelligent, that can put sentences together? This is the state of affairs that this country is in, and it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse because white America is not willing to accept the fact that they made a piss poor decision, not once, but twice, some of them 3 times. We don't want to admit that the reason why this incompetent, mediocre, intellectually deprived, cognitively declining, emotional man child was selected because Obama was selected. And that's unfortunate, but it's true. That man who we have in office now called Obama everything but a child of God before he became president. And if America didn't believe what he was saying, then America wouldn't have voted him in. So it makes me want to look inside our America, right? Makes me want to side eye America to say, who are you? Who do you represent? Because if you represent me too, and he's disrespecting me, and you elected him, then that means that you want to disrespect me too. And if you want to disrespect me, then that would indicate that I'm subhuman to you, that I'm not your equal. And if I'm not your equal, then why should I want to live in the same place that you do? And that's just honest. What's going on in this country right now is, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it, you all, white Americans are actually realizing that they are what? White. And that whiteness no longer protects them. And I say to you, white America, and I mean this sincerely, now that you've had that aha moment, what are you willing to do about that? Because for people of color, black and brown, we've been enduring this since your ancestors or those that look like you brought us over here. Some of us were already here, but the ones that were here, the Eurocentric settlers, systemically reduced us. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible because I'm on a social platform, but I also want to share a little knowledge as well. Tamara, I'm sorry that your father transitioned of cancer. The C word is it's major, and my roommate that I'd had, for 4 years, she actually she's in recovery, but I was able to kind of support her during that time, and that is not for the the faint at heart. So my heart goes out to your family during this time, and God bless you too, Pinch. I appreciate you coming through and showing the love, and also adding some comments um, in the comment section. But I do want us to really evaluate what's going on, not just in America, but in the world, and how that is affecting all of us, and what can we do about it as a collective. You have so many things that you can do, and I'm wondering if you feel like it's time to do it, and if not now, when? Um, Again, I like the fact that he's mad because he lost his rule of the world, and that's all. And we're experiencing the death throes of their influence over everything. And I say it, the chickens are coming home to roost. I did some content about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, actually saying something similar to what you were saying, Pinch, because that's exactly what it is. The head is who we are, and the tails of who they are, and it's becoming reversed. There's a spiritual warfare that's going on, and I agree with you. Thank you so much for sharing that. uh, it's a spiritual warfare that is being disguised in classism, racism, sexism, chauvinism, any kind of ism you can think of, religion, um, just sexual orientation, just anything and everything that you can think of to want to divide us. That's what they're trying to do because they know that their time is winding down. And that's again one of the reasons why I wanted to come on, and I'm going to be doing it more frequently, especially when I come across um, these news um, these news stories that we're not getting on the regular ABC, NBC, Fox, and all those. These are coming from independent sources, which means they're more valid and accurate. So, with that being said, I was really kind of stunned with with how the American media has been concealing what's really been going on outside of America. Like you I wouldn't have known that. Sorry, I got sidetracked, you all. I was looking at something. I would not have known that the United States was actually secretly trying, they had secretly attacked Iran during a ceasefire, because the way that they are trying to present it to us is if Iran um, fought first, attacked first. And if anybody has any common sense, that makes no sense because Iran wasn't getting beat down. America was getting beat down. America was the one that wanting to say that's crying uncle. Really, that's crying uncle right now. So logically, it wouldn't make sense. Iran was just doing it to appease the Americans and the America for the most part. And yet, look what Trump did. Instead of him keeping his word, because he's a liar, he's a bona fide liar, and America is a lie. That's what, if anything, Trump represents. He is America's white lie, reincarnated. If America's white lie was a person, it would be Trump. And I think I found the title of my book, America's White Lie. I think that's what I'm going to do because he is the epitome of what America misrepresents. He he represents someone. Oh, he says that he picks himself up from the bootstraps and he got it all from himself, which is a bold-faced lie, and that's what America says too, right? Let America tell it. It was nothing before the European settlers came in. Messy but worthy food. What? No, I want to try that. Hold on, y'all. It's making me do certain things. Hold on, hold on. No, we don't want that. What? It just kicked me out. But white America and Trump is the white lie. He is where he didn't do anything to get where he is, but lie, chill. He stole, he lied, he cheated, he manipulated. Um, yeah, he did all that, and that's the American way. That appears to be the American way, and y'all, we're better than that. I know I keep saying that, but we really, really are. And it just kind of saddens my spirit. It really saddens my spirit that white America has allowed this country to get to where it is. And they have the audacity to blame the black and brown people. And we've never had any kind of control. Well, correction. Before the European invasion of 1492, we we were doing okay over here. Nobody bothered us. You know what I'm saying? We may have a little spat here and now, from tribe to tribe, but for the most part, we ain't bother nobody. We was learning, we was growing, we was appreciating the earth. Nature was appreciating us. It was a symbiotic type of relationship. You know what I'm saying? It was a good thing. And then the European settlers came and they brought with them destruction, disease, devastation, deviance. I can keep going, but put down there and tell me if I'm lying. I'm not. Christopher Columbus has contributed bringing us all them diseases over here, raping 14-year-old girls. But no, we didn't. Nobody tells us about that. Like Thomas Jefferson, who's supposed to be one of the founding fathers, who was a actual predator, just like our current president is. He was coercing a 14-year-old slave girl. And don't come to me down in the chat about it being some love story. That's a bold-faced lie. That is how it was whitewashed to us to hide the truth. The truth is that he assaulted a child. The same way it is showing that the POTUS did the same thing to a child, right? But yet we rewarded that behavior, which tells us that America is okay with that behavior. As a matter of fact, were y'all aware that in Oklahoma, they have recently passed a bill that you have to be 18, I think it is, to get married? And there were people, white men, who were pushing against that. They wanted it to be younger. Now, I want to put in your ear that Oklahoma City, white evangelicals, right? Over, again, 70% of those who voted for Trump were white evangelicals. It's supposed to be about God first. But they're okay with supporting a pedo. Right. What's wrong with this country? Right? What's up, Cabus Mindova? Caboose Mimendova? I think that, and I'm butchering it, and I'm sorry about that, Caboose, but I thank you for coming over and just enjoying this beautiful sunny day. I'm going to get off in a little bit and come back on. I got to make a couple errand runs today, and I think I may take you all with me just to kind of shoot the breeze a little bit and let me know what y'all think about certain current events that's going on today. So, Cabot, I see you just came in. I was basically talking about an article that I had read, a couple of articles that I had read earlier, where even though the United States had asked Iran for a ceasefire, the sneaky white man that Trump is, lying, deceiving, thieving man that he is, they decided to try to sneak attack Iran early in the morning. And Iran was waiting on them because they know that these blonde haired, blue eyed devil pale faces, as Lewis, not as Malcolm X would say, he knew they were lying and they were ready for him. And he's panicking now because he didn't expect Iran to strike back. Now, to me, that sounds like white arrogance, right? You tell me, but it sounds very much like white arrogance. Like, how dare you go against me, even though Iran has been saying from the jump, this is not what you want. This is not what you want. You try to come last, yeah, and act a fool and do what you did. But here you coming back again. This is not what you want. And yet, Trump, white arrogance, tried it, and look what happened. Now he's panicking because he doesn't know what Iran is going to do, because Iran is now threatening the U.S. air bases over there in the Middle East. So anybody that has family over there, now they have the stress and the anxiety of their loved ones being in harm's way because of this loudmouth, dumb, uneducated, cognitively declining, emotional man-child who happened to be racist, bigot, misogynistic, a cheater, liar, that kind of thing, who happens to do all that too. So because of him, I can't even say that, because of the white Americans that voted for him, those families are now on guard because they don't know who's going to hit them and why. Uh-uh. They know why, because of Trump. But where? They don't know where it's coming from. And that's not fair to our brave men and women that sacrifice their time, their family, their talent, their energy, their freedom for our freedom. For me to be able to get on this app and talk as much smack as I want to. I couldn't do that in other countries. I know that. And I'm thankful for the men and women who sacrifice themselves so that I can have this type of freedom. And yet, you have a president that lied and said that he couldn't go because of something wrong with his foot or his feet, which is a lie. He's a weakling. He's the one that said the soldiers that got caught were losers. Even though I didn't agree with all of his policies, I respected the fact that John McCain was a POW, a prisoner of war. John McCain, the late senator from Arizona. If I'm telling my age, but I'm just saying. Now he was a fallen he was a soldier who was captured, and yet your president clowned him and said he was a loser because he got caught. You should feel, especially if you are a white American, you should feel some kind of way. You should be doing everything in your power to correct all of this, because we're talking 250 years of him in the making. Trump has been in the making for 250 years. So when I say some of us aren't shocked about him, we're not. We saw it happening. Some of us that were paying attention, and before anybody comes and comes from my head, I can honestly say that I started being in civic engagement in the mid 90s. Right, so I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So again, I just want to give us some food for thought that if we don't, excuse me, if white America doesn't correct their error, it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. So let's start with now. You can actually call this man on his stuff. The whole cabinet under a certain article, look it up. Google says, and the Google is something like, can an entire presidential cabinet be removed from office? Ask your AI that and let me know what they come up with, because I saw that an article was put in place for that reason. So why wait until November? All of them should get out. What has Vance done for you? What has Stephen Miller done for you? Do you even know who that is? Steve Witkoff, Peter Thiel. These are names y'all should be familiar with, and if you're not, become familiar with them. Linda McMahon, Kash Patel, Stephen Cho, Patrick Duffy, Todd Blanche. Google these names, you all, and y'all will understand why I'm asking you to Google these names. Because believe it or not, these people, Peter Thiel, Stephen Miller, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, those four in particular are basically controlling Trump's head and his decisions, because they know how to say it to him and whatnot to feed his ego. And he's not that smart. So they are playing him like a puppet. So get familiar with those names as well, and you will understand why I'm telling you to get familiar with those names. Because if you don't do this article where everybody gets out, you're going to put J.D. Vance as your president, and you're going to put Mike Johnson as your vice president. Both of those, as you can tell, they have no backbone. They have no spine. They're quite weak. They are basically, I hate to say it, but they're prostitutes. They're pimps to the highest bidder, the highest political bidder. And right now it's Peter Thiel, Steve Witkoff, and Peter Thiel is the main one. Let me just put it like that. So I'm saying that to say y'all need to start paying attention to your politics. You need to be looking at what's what and who's who, because if you don't, you're going to look up and you're going to be have martial law. We're going to be having rations, food, people giving us, the National Guard kind of throwing food in the damn neighborhoods, and we just got to go out a certain time, but a night or day, and pick it up, the rations like you see in the movies. Y'all, that wasn't just the movies. That was a test run. Okay? That was a test run. And they were trying to see how we would respond. And I'm so proud of us for not brown people. I'm so proud of us for not losing our minds. Okay? Because at any given time we could have lost our minds and acted up and reacted, which is what they wanted. Then they could have implemented martial law before the elections, right? Because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to do everything in their power to alter these November turnouts, because they know, because of Trump, that there's no coming back from this. When he tried to do that sludge fund for the insurrectionists from January 6th, that was the last proverbial nail in the coffin. They didn't, 1.78 billion dollars he was trying to generate for criminals. Now, again, I repeat, if Obama had even thought about anything like that, Mitch McConnell would have had his head. He would have rounded up all the Republicans and they would have had his head. For example, if Obama had told Eric Holder, who was the Attorney General, look, it's messed up what happened to Trayvon Martin, and it don't look like George Zimmerman is going to get any type of repercussion. So go and find some money so that you can give them some as a compensation because he was wrong. Do you think that that would have been okay? I'm just saying. Or even with George Floyd, right? Now, we all saw what happened with him. We saw those knees on the back. What if Obama had come out of his face and said, well, because all that happened and it was a police officer, Eric Holder, I want you to go and find some money so you can give it to his family. Fox News would have lost their dang on mind. But yet, ain't nobody losing their mind when this man who has stolen over $6 billion during his presidency, and I say stolen because he has, when he giving chips and when he giving microchips and things to other countries for a fee. But if Obama had even spoken to a dictator, y'all had hisses. But yet I'm not supposed to say anything about there's a difference in behavior that is accepted from a white man versus a black man. I'm not supposed to say anything like that because if I do, then I'm accused of the R word. Like, how ridiculous does that sound? It's as ridiculous as white people who, let's say, coming from the Vanderbilt family, because if I'm not mistaken, Anderson Cooper comes from the Vanderbilt family. It's like him telling the black people, well, pull yourself up from the bootstraps. You can do it. Stop being a victim, right? When his entire family victimized black people and white people to get to where they wanted, to get to where they got to, so he can enjoy his generational wealth. Tucker Carlson, the whole Swan dynasty, the dinners, that's his family. So he can say the stuff that he's saying to us because he's coming from a whole dynasty of generational wealth. They didn't get it the right way. They got it the white way through corruption. And that's what America represents, doing things the white way. Well, Trump tried that white way with Iran, and Iran is not having that, and nor should they. If you were them, would you be okay with another country coming in and trying to debo what happens in your country, even though the people in their own country don't have those very rights, but they coming over to your country and telling you how to treat your people? How would you feel about that hypocrisy? I would think you would feel the same way that these people are after 50 something years. And be honest with you, just because they chanted, made words, sticks and stones may break your bones, there was no reason to go, no justification to go in because somebody said some words. When America says words, Pete Hegseth in particular, somebody should literally listen. With him, it is disgusting when he speaks. So if you hear this, Pete, you are disgusting when you speak because you are a blatant lie. You literally are a walking lie. Everything that comes out your mouth, lie. The fact that you removed Colin Powell from the Arlington Cemetery, Colin Powell. I don't know a white person. I don't care how racist they are. If they knew anything about the military, I don't know too many white people that don't respect Colin Powell. And you gonna have the nerve, the caucasity, to remove him from the Arlington Cemetery, and ain't nobody saying nothing about that? How disrespectful. But Pete, it ain't you. Because in this white America, you've been taught that it's okay for you to be disrespectful to women, to black men, to black women. And this system has taught you all to be disrespectful to black and brown people. But I share this with you, Pete. The universe has a way of working it out for its people. That's why if you're Afrocentric, we don't worry about getting back at nobody and none of that. That's not what we do because we don't have time. It's beneath us, Pete. If you Afrocentric, there's a balance, an authenticity about yourself, a cultural awareness that we all have, that y'all come from us. There's a harmony from the inside and the outside because we know who we are, and there's a balance. Not only that, there's an interconnectedness that we have, that we know that we have with everything, including the universe. So we don't necessarily have to worry about you having, or we don't have to worry about enforcing that consequence on you because the universe does it itself. It's just carnal, um, universal karma. So just like with Pam Bundy, things like this happen. And Trump's health, there's no coincidence that there is no coincidence that his health is declining the way that it is. None at all. You continue to put forth negativity, and the universe will answer. That it will manifest. And it was just so. It wasn't an if; it was a when for our president. And then I ask white Americans in particular, what's Plan B? Because you're not even considering the fact that this man may not be around in November. What's your plan of action? JD, someone who disregards his own wife and the importance and her value. And I can say that because the way that he speaks about her is so disrespectful. If he was my husband, I'd slap the piss out of him. And I'm just being honest. I would literally slap the piss out of him because the things that he says about her, it is such a disdain that he's not into Proverbs 18:22. When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing and favor in the Lord, even though he's supposed to be a Christian evangelical, even though he's changed his religion twice. I think he's changed his name 3 times. If there were a black person, Obama, that changed his name from Obama Hussein, Barack Hussein Obama, if he had changed his name to Leon Smith before he ran, y'all would have been up in arms, especially Fox News. Fox News would have gave him some type of story that he was a forgery um, thief, thief who who knows, who had a crazy background. Fox News would have made up all kinds of things if they had discovered that Barack had changed his name from Tyrone Smith to Barack Hussein Obama. But J.D. Vance can change his name on more than one occasion, one being something Bowman, and his religion. What's wrong with that picture, y'all? Why is it that white people, white men can do whatever they want to do in this country and in this world, but if a black and brown person, if there's a thought, if there's an inkling that the black and brown person is going to do something different, then it gets shut down. Where is that threat? Why is there such a threat with that? Does anybody know? I'm curious about that too. There's so many things that on my lives we're going to just kind of discuss that just kind of popping in my mind, and I'm not the only one to have certain thoughts, and I am curious to hear other people's perspective. But yeah, let me get on off of here because I do have some errands to run. I may get up and charge my phone, and may this looks really nice out there. I might have you guys walk along with me. We'll see. But I did want to get on here to find out if you all had heard or seen where America once again lied. We don't keep our word. We renege on everything. And we wonder why, the world looks at us crazy now. It's because we've always been liars. And Iran is finally showing America who we really are and who we really are not. We're not the bullies. We're not the correction. We're not the big bad bullies that we try to claim to be. We're big old scaredy. We're scared bullies. We're the big scared bullies on the schoolyard that we ain't got no education. So because we ain't got no education, we'll want to beat everybody up. That kind of bully. You know what I'm saying? When you're in elementary school, it was usually the big boy or the big girl that unfortunately they weren't that smart or they had some stuff going on with them. And because they know how to use their words, they use their fists or their hands, and they would, go after the little weaklings. That's kind of what America has been doing for 250 years. And now Iran has shown that what is it about the emperor with no clothes? That's Trump. That's Trump, and he has shown that we have no clothes, that we are naked, naked, naked. Necked, naked. And I don't think white America knew how naked we was, because for the most part, their whiteness covered them, and they didn't feel the nakedness. But people of color we've definitely felt the nakedness, unfortunately, from white America. But it taught us resilience, and that's why we're not really missing a beat with what's going on with Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico, Greenland, you name it. All the ones that Trump and his regime have been trying to conquer. Black and brown people, we're like whatever, because this ain't nothing new to us. Again, we true to this. We've been in this for a minute. It's now the white people's turn. So let me just say, it is different. It's a different. Yeah, it's different for white people. I can't even imagine what y'all are experiencing or thinking, to be honest with you, because it is a new looking at America through another lens after several years of having a white lens. That can be a bit much, and I'm not even being funny. I'm very sincere. Cognitive dissonance will be a lot for some of y'all to handle, that you have been lied to and hoodwinked and bamboozled, just like black and brown people, but you didn't know it. With Iran and with Trump, he's showing how susceptible we are as a country, how weak we are, that everything we portrayed as strength really wasn't. We were little scared little scared boys and girls inside. And Iran revealed how weak we are, and that we were using our reputation to cover our weaknesses. And I think I will do another videos particularly on that, our weaknesses that we have as a country, and airing our dirty laundry, and finally coming clean with ourselves, with each other, so we really can reconcile and go get towards that healing that we need as a nation, because it's going to take all of us as a nation to really heal from what this president has done to us. So I'm going to leave it on that. And again, I thank you all for coming. Um, but I do send it out in the universe. I'm very sincere when I say this. There are more of us that have more things in common than not in common, and that's what they fear. Ones fear us. They fear us knowing that there are more of us that collectively love each other and have a revolution in love, because the word love is in revolution, that we don't have to use our fists, but we can use our hands, and we can hug, and we can hold hands, and we can literally use the fifth element, which is love, to break through this matrix once and for all. So we can finally have a world where minorities and others determined to have a fair and equal society can finally live in peace, live in harmony, live in our interconnectedness, where every one of us is somehow connected, and we appreciate the interconnectedness as opposed to looking at it as a negative. So once again, I thank you so much for chiming in. Um, Pinch, Caboose, King, thank you all for hanging in there with me. And I hope to see you again real soon. You all take care. God bless you all.